Welcome to another edition of the Don't Argue, all thanks to the friendly team at Palmerbet. And I tell you what, when you're talking about blokes that fill the shirts out, have a look at this bloke. He's the born Adonis. His name is Kurt Gidley. Gids, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, afternoon, Matty. How are you, mate? You good?
Mate, fantastic. I'm on the road this week, Gids. I'm actually up at Moama. I'm in New South Wales, so I've got a bit of the blues running through my veins, buddy.
That's the way, mate. What a beautiful, beautiful part of the territory, part of New South Wales, mate, there. What's south? South, just near the border, mate, is it?
Right on the border, mate. So Echuca over the other
Yeah,
side,
good stuff.
on the New
Pachuca.
Wales side. So I've kind of been dropping your name down here, Gids, but hasn't been receiving any
Nah,
free feeds or free drinks
nah,
for years.
nah, mate. I'll be an absolute Neville down there that way, matey, I reckon. But, mate, exciting week, mate. Again, a big weekend, matey, with Easter coming up, of course, and some cracking crowds by the looks of things that are building. I know at a core stadium there, I think the Dogs and Bunnies looks like it's going to be 70-odd thousand they're talking about. So, yeah, there's a couple of cracking games coming up. It's always a good period, Easter weekend, and then that leads into, mate, Anzac Day next week. So a big couple of weeks for the NRL.
Hey, absolutely, it is, Gids. And let's go back and just some of the highlights from last week and the lowlights. And obviously, the question marks starting to really come now for the Penrith Panthers, aren't they? We've discussed this the last couple of weeks. And I think I was over the Dolphins. I was on the Dolphins last week to cause a little upset, and that is loss number 5. Penrith. We didn't see this coming, Gids, did we?
No, mate. I mean, there's always been some questions during the preseason when they've lost some real quality players, Matty, over the last 4 or 5 years, I suppose. So, but they've been able to maintain their success and still win premierships and get through Origin periods when their star players are out. But yeah, no one really sort of predicted this. Even myself was thinking they'll continue to power along, but they've had a few injuries, like most clubs are dealing with at the moment. But there's some more inexperienced players trying to step up to continue the legacy that Panthers have had over the last few years and are struggling with that. So currently sitting in 16th position, mate, in second last, just
Amazing.
above the Parramatta Eels. Who would have thought? But again, mate, I think I've spoken about it's all, there's 3 stages, mate. Well, there's 4 stages really of the season. There's round 1 to Origin period, post Origin period to semi-finals, and then semi-final series. So I still think they'll pick up and get some wins and get to the semi-finals, but they're coming from a long way back, mate.
Oh, mate, it's a long way back from here, kids. To be honest, I can't see him even playing finals at the moment. I know that is a massive call, but I just reckon that they're just lacking that little bit of killer instinct, which they've been so renowned for over the last kind of 4 or 5 years. Hey, talking about teams that are kind of rebuilding and they just never seem to go away. The Roosters, that team, that was a really good win against an informed team, the Broncos, last week, and they're the real deal still, aren't they? Like, we know they've lost some players in that, kids, but they just seem to overcome it.
Well, mate, they're the opposite to the Panthers at this stage. They lost like 5 top quality players, like Luke Keary, Tupanua. There was Jared Hargraves. There was Suoliti. There was a couple others as well. So they've lost some top players, and they've had some real surprising wins this year. I think they had a really good win against the Panthers, and then that was an outstanding win against the Broncos at Suncorp last week. So, yep, they're still chipping away, working really hard, and we're kind of surprising a lot of teams, I think, mate, at the moment.
Hey, Gids, I've got to ask the question, mate. Your Newcastle Knights, big fella. Defensively, they've been enormous, but it's with ball in hand and their attacking and their ability to score, which has just been letting them down, hasn't it, this year?
Struggling to score, Matty. Struggling to score points at all. Can't get across the white line. And look, the weekend was a big letdown. I felt, as a past player and a fan sitting in the grandstand. Number one, it was a beautiful afternoon. It was a sold-out crowd, and it was a great opportunity to get back with a win. The Knights had beaten the West Tigers in round 1, which was a tight game. Tigers had a number of players that didn't play in that game were playing on Sunday afternoon. The Knights were missing a number of players from round 1. But I just thought it was an underwhelming performance, and it came down to just way too many errors coming out of yardage. And it makes it really hard, mate, to compete and compete for games when you're dropping, you're making unforced errors. Then it would have been a really tough video session, I reckon, that one. And it doesn't get any easier this week. Back at home again, the Knights, but up against the Sharks.
Yeah, no, it's not getting easier for the Newcastle Knights, that is for sure, mate. Let's go to our tips for last week. You pick one up, Gids, on me. 5 out of 8 for you, 4 out of 8 for myself. You are back in town.
Yes, mate. Still a bit of work to do there, mate. I've gone with a couple of smokies this week too. I think I've got to. I think each week there is good 2 to 3 upsets, and I'm going to have a crack at a couple this week, but we'll get to those later. But I think you're still overall, mate. Probably got me by a couple at this stage.
I'm firing this year, mate. I'm not going to let you get past me either. Hey, the kids get on last week, mate. You just went back to a 2-leg multi. You got 1 out of 2. Sharks 1 to 12, mate. You wanted Fauna Blake anytime try scorer, but couldn't quite get the job done. But the Sharks were good.
Yeah, look, I thought Fanua Blake was going to give it a bit of value. That's what it was going to do for a 2-leg multi, but it was going to be a long shot. He can pull one out of the bag every now and then, but 50% out of that multi-mate on the weekend, not good enough.
Mate, I'm sticking with my 4 anytime try scorers. Latrell, Dom Young, Kalen Ponga, all let me down. Disappointing, boys. Lift. I need something out here, but the Hammer let me down, mate. The Hammer was back. He's a barometer, isn't he?
He was good. Yeah, maybe he had some open space. He was creating things from sort of nothing, which is what he was doing over the last couple of years, and might give him a fair bit of confidence, mate, going into this week again. It was a big win for him.
Him and Taruva, they're exciting players, aren't they? You know, and you chuck kind of Reece Walsh in the mix. There's some really exciting talent, isn't there, Gids?
Yeah, well, mate, you can't be complacent and switch off when those guys, especially when there's unstructured loose ball, you know, whether it might be an offload or an error where they just pick it up and there's broken field. That's when they're dangerous.
Hey, kids, let's turn our attention to this weekend's round of matches, and it all starts on Thursday night. Manly taking on the Dragons, $7.50 at 4 Pines Park. Head-to-head, the Seagulls, $1.62. Dragons at $2.30. The line here is 3.5 points. Total points over under is 48.5. Stats and bets we like. The home team has won 10 of the last 11 matches between Manly and St George. So Manly to win here head-to-head. St George have failed to cover the line in each of its last 12 away matches following a win. So take Manly at the line. And each of the last 4 matches between Manly and St George have gone under the total match points. So under total match points. Multi those 3 up, $3.40, Gids. Which way? Because both these teams, their form's been up and down.
Yeah, up and down for sure, Matty. I think the Dragons may be 1 win, 1 loss each week at this stage. So that's pretty inconsistent. They've had a couple of cracking wins, but they've had a couple of terrible losses as well where they've been expected to win. I think it's going to continue that pattern. I'm going to go with the Eagles, mate, at home, 4 Pines, and sets himself up for the weekend of kicking back and relaxing, mate, for the Easter weekend. Be nice incentive there to get the job done Thursday night footy, wouldn't it? To enjoy the rest of the weekend. So, yep, I'm going to go with the Eagles, mate. I think 1 to 12, mate, for that one.
Yeah, Eagles in a tight one for mine as well. And you're right, Gids. Thursday night footy heading into an Easter weekend. You can just back and enjoy it. It's perfect, isn't it?
Mate, yeah. That's spoken about during the week and in team meetings, and then certainly game day. Right, we got a job here. Let's get it done tonight. Let's kick back to the weekend, enjoy a bit of family time, watch everyone else bloody bash each other around.
Mate, I love it. Hey, what about Friday night? It is Good Friday football, I should say, in the afternoon. Bulldogs taking on the Rabbitohs. This is a huge contest at Course Stadium. It is going to be absolutely humming there. Head-to-head. Bulldogs $1.29. Rabbitohs $3.60. The Bulldogs, of course, undefeated. Line here is 10.5. Total points over under is 44.5 points. Stats and bets we like. The Rabbits have lost each of its last 8 matches against opponents that were ranked in the top 4. So just take the Bulldogs to win. South Sydney have covered the line in 7 of its last 8 matches at a Course Stadium, so take the Rabbits at the line. And each of South Sydney's last 6 matches have gone under the total match points, so under total match points here. Multi those 3 legs up, $5.25 at Palmerbet. This is going to be a cracker. Generally, doesn't matter where ladder positions, all that kind of stuff between these two teams. They're always fierce contests on Good Friday, aren't they?
For sure, buddy. And this is the one they're talking, 60, 70,000 people for this one. I have looked at the weather. It's going to be a cracking weekend in New South Wales around the Sydney Newcastle region. So I expect a massive turnout there. The Bulldogs, they've got a huge following, and it only gets bigger as they have more success for sure. And so it's going to be a really tough game for the Rabbits. I think this one they're going to leave Latrell Mitchell there at 5'8" for this game. Matt Burton back for the Dogs this week as well. So it's shaping up as a really big game. I think it's the match of the round for this one. Cody Walker's back this week for the Bunnies.
Yeah, huge.
And, shapes up as a really big one, mate. I think the Dogs, mate, we'd spoken about their defence last year, I think it might have been. Or was it the year before? They were defending really strong. But certainly this year, they've gone back to that really resilient and tough defence. I remember they had the bye last week. The week before, the Knights had some issues with some injuries early in that game, but they couldn't score. They didn't look like scoring the Newcastle Knights against the Dogs, probably because they were pretty tired from a petrol perspective. But the Dogs' defence, it was tough and resilient. They worked pretty hard for each other. So, mate, I'm on the Dogs for this one, and I just think with the atmosphere that is going to be there from a supporter's perspective, I think Dogs 13 plus.
I'm a massive Rabbitohs fan. You know that, kids. I just like the way they go about it, and I reckon Walker's inclusion will kind of help Latrell too. Like they're just so creative.
Yeah.
Two together. And an upset wouldn't surprise me here. I am going the Bulldogs, but it would not surprise me one little bit because the Rabbits have kind of had that season this year, haven't they? They kind of they're getting the job done. So.
They get the job done, Matty. Yep, you certainly can't write the Bunnies off, which I think a lot of us did. I certainly did without Latrell and Cam Murray to start the year when those two major injuries, but they certainly proved a lot of people wrong during those early rounds.
Mate, let's so we're both on the Bulldogs to remain undefeated. Let's move along to Friday night footy. This will be huge at Suncorp Stadium. It is the Dolphins taking on the Storm. Head-to-head here, the Dolphins 4.45, Storm $1.21. Dolphins were good last week against the Panthers. Line here is 12.5. Total points over, under is 49.5 points. Stats and bets, we like Dolphins have lost 8 of their last 9 matches against opponents that were ranked in the top 8, so Storm to win. Dolphins have covered the line in each of their last 4 matches at home as underdogs, so take the Dolphins at the line. And each of the Dolphins' last 8 matches have gone under the total match points, so under total match points here. Multi those 3 up, $4.50 Gids. Storm were good. They were good last week. Dolphins showed a bit, though, for mine, against the Panthers. A bit of scoring power with the hammer. We touched on that earlier. Can they cause a little mini upset at Suncorp?
I don't think so. I think the Storm, where they had that loss there the other week against the Dragons, was just a bit of a clip around the ears. So certainly from Coach Craig Bellamy, I reckon that would have been a pretty rough week as far as video and honesty. And they turned it around pretty quickly there last week with a significant win over the Warriors. I think I even heard Harry Grant talk again during the press this week around some disappointment how they finished the back end of that game defensively. So I think they'll be pretty dialed in for this one, the Storm again, and looks like a very impressive squad that they've named for this match. And I think it'll be a tough one for the Dolphins. So I'm tipping Storm 13 plus here.
Yeah, hard to tip against the Melbourne Storm, isn't it? Any time you tip Gids, you can't kind of tip against them, to be honest. But they'll get the job done. They're just so good defensively in their setup. They're just like clockwork. They're like robots, I reckon, for mine. Hey, Warriors taking on the Broncos. This is Saturday, 5:30 at Go Media Stadium in New Zealand. Head-to-head, Warriors $3.08, Broncos $1.38. Line here is 9.5 points. Total points over, under is 47.5. Stats and bets, we like the Warriors have won either half in 18 of its last 19 home matches. So Warriors to win. That is an interesting little stat. Brisbane has failed to cover the line in 16 of its last 20 matches. So take the Warriors at the line. And each of New Zealand's last 5 matches as an underdog have gone over the total match points. So we'll take them over total match points here. You multi those 3 up, $5.75, all thanks to Palmerbet. Now, the Broncos were disappointing last week, and they still have lapses, don't they? Some, their good is good, but their bad is bad, isn't it, kids?
Yeah, it is, Matty. And, mate, I like that multi. I'm going to this is one of my upsets for the week. I'm going to go Warriors head-to-head at home. I think taking the line's a good bet. But the three-leg multi, $5.75. Warriors to win, Warriors at the line, and over total match points. I think that's a really good multi, and I'm on that one this weekend.
Wowzers!
I think it could be an upset here.
Big, the Waz. Well, they got a bit of a giant killer about them when they play well. The Warriors, they get up and about, don't they? They play some good rugby. So it's this consistency which is the key.
Yep.
I'm going back to. I actually reckon they're better on the road than they are at home. They were disappointing last year on their home deck.
They were.
I think they got the Broncos last year. They were at home. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I reckon they got them there last year. I'm sticking with the Broncos, mate.
Sticking with the Bronx.
I'm sticking with the Bronx. It'll be tight, but I'm kind of hearing you. It wouldn't surprise me. A little mini upset. The Warriors are at a crazy price at $3.08. Hey, Roosters, Panthers. Geez, all of a sudden this game's got a bit in it. Saturday night, 7:30 at Allianz Stadium. Head-to-head, Roosters 2.18, Panthers $1.68. Line here is 3.5. Total points over under is 46.5 points. Stats and bets we like. The Panthers have lost each of its last 5 matches. So just take the Roosters to win. Penrith have failed to cover the line in each of its last 4 matches against opponents that were ranked in the bottom 4. So take the Roosters at the line. And each of Sydney's last 4 matches have gone under the total match points line. So under total match points. Multi those 3 up, 375, kids. Geez, this is going to be a beauty. This is so much on the line here for the Panthers, for mine.
Yeah, I think this is a cracking match. This one, Matty, Roosters versus Panthers, 7:30, Allianz Stadium. Mitch Kenny is back for the Panthers, mate. I think he's really influential in that team. His work rate around the middle defensively, but also probably just steering a bit of traffic in attack as well with Isaiah Yeo and Nathan Cleary. I just think, with the Panthers leaking a few points this year, a bit more inexperienced in the centres. Tom Jenkins on the wing, who sort of bounced around to Newcastle and back to Penrith. Paul Alamotti is a good player and has been playing a bit of first grade for a while. Casey McLean is a bit younger, a bit more inexperienced. So there's no doubt when teams are looking at video sessions and doing their homework, they look to isolate the inexperienced players in their defence. So I think that's where the Roosters will be looking again this weekend. It's a tough one to pick, but I think the Panthers, they've got to be bouncing back at some stage. And I think it could be this weekend, especially with Mitch Kenny's inclusion.
Mate.
Panthers, head-to-head.
I'm going Roosters. They're straight out, head-to-head. Just take them. $2.18. That is a bet. Roosters are going good. They're good enough to beat the Panthers. We'll put it this way. I reckon they're better than the Dolphins, and the Dolphins give them a bit of a touch-up. So that's how I'm weighing it up, kids. Home crowd.
Yeah, no, fair call. It's a tough one to tip, and it is a tough one to tip the Panthers, given the way they've been playing at the moment and leaking some points.
Roosters get the job done. Righto, Titans, Raiders, Sunday 2 p.m. at Seabus Super Stadium, head-to-head. Titans $1.98. Raiders $1.82. Line here is 1.5 points. Total points over. Under is 47.5. Stats and bets we like. Canberra's won each of its last 7 matches at Seabus Super Stadium. So take the Raiders to win. 7 of the last 8 day matches between Gold Coast and Canberra have gone over the total match points. Canberra has covered the line in 7 of its last day matches against the Gold Coast. So take the Raiders at the line. Multi those 3 up and you get $6, kids. I don't know about you. I'm super keen here, actually. I'm super keen on the Raiders. I don't know what you're thinking here, kids.
Yeah.
I think the Raiders get the job done here.
Mate, I reckon the Raiders are playing, mate, with plenty of tenacity. I think that's the word. They're playing tough. They're working hard defensively. They're backing themselves right to the end of the game, where they've secured a couple of late wins. So I just think they're a really tough and resilient team that plays with plenty of tenacity, work really hard defensively at the moment. And mate, they're currently sitting 4th. You're not sitting 4th at the moment, this stage of the year. I know it's still early days, but they deserve to be sitting where they are. And they've certainly, again, surprised a lot of people who were expecting them to be placed at the bottom of the ladder at the end of the year. So Sticky's done a great job there with them at the moment, and they're kind of flying under the radar a little bit, the Raiders. And I think they'll win. I think they'll win convincingly, mate, this weekend, 13+.
I'm with you, mate. Raiders, and I think I'm going to make them. I think I'm going to make them my lock for the week too, kids.
Your lock of the week?
I'm going to go Raiders as my lock of the week at $1.82. You're nearly getting double your money, mate. That is unbelievable.
Nice one.
Hey, listen, this is a big game. Knights v Sharks, 4:05 Sunday, Easter Sunday. You'll be out there with plenty of Easter eggs to give the kids, mate.
I will be.
Dressed up in that Easter outfit, I reckon, which will be the Easter Bunny outfit, which will be awesome to see too, kids. The Palmerbet market has the Knights at 3.25, Sharks at $1.34 favourites. Line here is 9.5. Total points over under is 41.5 points. Stats and bets we like. The Sharks have won each of its last 11 matches as favourites against the Knights. Newcastle's covered the line in 7 of its last 8 matches at home as an underdog, so take the Knights at the line. And each of the Knights' last 8 matches have gone under the total match points line. If you multi those 3 legs up, $6 at Palmerbet, kids. Come on, tell me, how can the Knights turn their season around? It's got to be offensively, doesn't it?
Well, Matty, you got to hold the pill, that's for sure. You got to be completing at 80% plus, and I think that's where the Knights should be focusing this week. Hey, boys, we've got to protect the ball, certainly with our carries coming out of yardage. No frivolous type of offloads, and making sure when we're getting, our set plays on in attack, that we nail the execution. Got to complete, Matty, because it maintains some energy. You get to the end of the sets, you can put some pressure on kick-wise then. They do have Tyson Gamble named at the moment. He's going to be his first game back for the year after some back surgery. That'll push Phoenix Crosland back to hooker, which I like. Phoenix at hooker works really hard. Line speed, he does really well. And then there is James Schiller. He's back from some concussion the week before. So they're better strength this week. Hopefully he's done a bit of an honest video session there from the Tigers game, which would have been a tough one to watch. And there'll be another big crowd. There's no doubt there'll be another big crowd. Public holiday the next day in Newcastle or everywhere, but certainly should be a big crowd there Sunday afternoon, 4:05 kickoff.
So Gids,
Knights.
You're tipping the Knights. Now listen,
tipping the Knights.
I think when your tips first come through, I reckon there was an S at the start of this little game.
It was a misprint. There was a misprint.
It lasted,
in the first text message on the WhatsApp group.
2 minutes it was up there for, I reckon.
I had to. You can edit. I wasn't
quick enough to
you can edit your text these days. Yep. Kai Pearce pullback too, mate, on the edge. He's a good inclusion too. Yep. He's good work rate. Good with his offloads. Struggle to put him down. So I think there is some experience coming back into the Knights team this weekend.
Righto, mate. I'm going
Knights in a tight one.
I'm going Sharks. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, but I'm going the Sharks to get the job done. I just want to see it.
Yeah, cool.
It's all like the last couple of weeks have been disappointing. Hey, it hasn't been disappointing for this team, and I'm speaking about the West Tigers taking on the Parramatta Eels. This is Monday, Easter Monday, 4 p.m. at CommBank Stadium, head-to-head. The West Tigers at $1.60. The Eels at $2.30. Line here is 4.5. Total points over under is 46.5 points. Stats and bets we like. Parramatta's won each of its last 6 away matches against the West Tigers. So just take the Eels to win. West Tigers have failed to cover the line in each of their last 6 matches at home as favourites. So Eels at the line. And each of the West Tigers' last 7 home matches against Parramatta have gone over the total match points line. 3 legs, same game multi, $4 at Palmerbet. Geez, the Tigers, they've been good. I love Taruva. He's an excitement machine.
Taruva's good, mate. He's an excitement machine. He's dangerous with the ball. I think, mate, this is my other upset of the round. Mitchell Moses is named for the Parramatta Eels, first game back this year. I think he'll bring a lot of confidence and belief to the group. I like that same game multi, mate. 3-leg multi, $4. Eels to win. Eels at the line and over total match points. I think both teams can score some points and don't protect their goal line as probably good as what they'd like. And I just think, mate, there's been a stack of off-field talk and distractions around Lachlan Galvin, around him leaving the West Tigers at the end of 2026. Can you believe we're talking around he's not going to be there for season 2027? Like, I just think it's madness that, number one, he's been offered a quite incredible deal and knocked it back. And he's openly said he wants to go elsewhere to develop his game. And so that obviously says he doesn't think he can develop it the way he wants to at the West Tigers and under Benji Marshall. So I just think all those distractions. He's been dropped this week, so he's not playing. But I just think all those negative headlines and I think that has an effect on team morale during the week, all those distractions. So I'm on the Earls, mate, for this one.
You know what, kids? It's always amazed me, being in AFL, growing up with AFL, obviously, being a Victorian. But I get blown away with these players that sign on 12, 18 months down the track. It's unheard of, like,
Yeah, I know.
it's
It's,
bizarre.
yeah, no. See, mate, he can't sign anywhere elsewhere until November 1 this year. That's for 2027, though. But for
Yeah,
him to come out and announce that he won't be at the Tigers for season 2027, like it's a bad look for the game. I think it's, if I was a Tigers supporter, I'd be filthy, to be honest. And now there's just all speculation around, when will he come back into the first grade team, or do they invest their time in younger players who are going to be there long term?
yeah.
So it's a really bad look for him. I think for his manager and for the Tigers fans, and then there's some real uncertainty around, is he going to be included within future selection for the rest of this year, or will he even be there now for 2026?
Yeah,
There's a lot of question marks, and mate, if they go well, those questions and headlines will be minimal, and if the wheels start to wobble a bit, you can understand what the headlines will be, and where the speculation will be. It'll be surrounded by around him.
Yeah, no, spot on, mate. Hey, listen, I'm sticking with the Tigers. That all being said, because they're just playing well at the moment, and I just love Luai and Taruva. They just got that combination, and they just got a bit of attacking ability, which I think is really, really important, mate. So I'm sticking with the Tigers to get the job done. Give us your pick 8, Gids. I've got a feeling with a few roughies in here, mate. This is going to be something huge this week.
It is, mate. A couple of smokies there, but Eagles to win, Dogs to win, Storm, the Warriors as an upset over there in New Zealand, Panthers, Raiders, Knights as a smoky, Eels as an upset as well. So 3 outsiders there, which brings it to $166.28.
That is huge. That's one of the biggest we've had, I reckon, on the Don't
That's one of the biggest we've had. If that gets up, it'll be the greatest pick 8 in history that don't argue.
Let's say you'll be doing a bit of White Lotus over in Thailand if that gets up, Gids. You'll be popping, big fella. Hey, mate, I've gone the other way. I've gone a little bit shorter, Gids. So I've just gone. I'm just trying to.
What do you got?
The screen. There we go. I've gone. So I've got Manly, Bulldogs, Storm, Broncos, Roosters, Raiders, Sharks, Tigers. No 161. Mine is $29.
Nah, all the favourites, them.
$29, mate.
You've got to be a bit of adventure. Well, they're the form teams, mate. They are the form teams. But as we've seen over the last few weeks, or since round 1's kicked off, there's been at least
plenty.
2 significant upsets.
I know. You got no confidence.
So I'll be interested to see what unfolds this weekend.
If you get 6 out of 8 each week, I reckon you're absolutely flying, to be honest.
Yeah.
Hey, what about the Gids get on? What do you got 100%. For a blower?
Yeah, mate. The Gids get on. I'm going to get on the game of the round for me, the Bulldogs versus the Rabbitohs, which is Friday, 4:05 kickoff at the Core Stadium. What a great time on a Friday to be playing some footy. Mate, Dogs 13 plus, Matty. Anytime try scorers, Tracy and Bronson Cherry. It is. And, mate, that'll get us $8.16.
Oh, I love it. I like it, Gids.
So couple of fast outside backs, mate. They'll lap up that type of atmosphere. I think the Dogs will thrive with a big crowd. And I can see Connor Tracy and Bronson Cherry barging over for a meat pie. $8.16, 3-leg multi
Love it, mate. Back to a three-legger this week, big fella. I'm sticking with before anytime try scorers. I'm going to get one of these up before the year's out. There's so many guns in the comp. It's just a matter of getting the right combinations, kids. Go on, this week I've gone Ponga. He needs to bounce back. He needs to stand up for the Knights. Taruva's just a scoring machine, mate. He'll get the job done for the West Tigers. Pappy will get the job done for the Storm. And the Hammer's in good nick at the moment. He'll cross over at some stage against the Storm. So all them anytime try scorers, kids, and that is going to get you $26 on the Palmer Bet app.
Nice one.
I like these little
nice one.
You just sit back in different games, you can kind of watch and you just hope that your player scores. And
a little bit riding each time you get one over the line, a little bit riding.
I just kind of refresh the scores and have a look who scored for each team and just hope for the best, just pray. Hey, it is that simple too. You download that Palmer Bet app and you can get involved yourself. It's a really simple app to get around. As we always say, gamble responsibly and think about what you're really gambling with, kids. My lock of the week is Canberra. What's yours?
My lock of the week, let me just check my little Palmer Bet app here, mate, and just run through. My lock of the week was Eagles. Eagles, of course.
Get the job done.
Thursday night, 7:50. Confident the Eagles can get it done at home. 4 points per half. They like playing there. That's my lock of the week.
And they got the jeans packed in their bags, and they're going to have one of those jean nights when they get the 4 points.
Well, they might just be able to get down to... what is it? The Wharf? Manly Wharf Bar or something there at Manly?
Don't know, mate.
Friday afternoon to watch the rest of the teams bash themselves around.
Hey, mate, it's going to be a cracking round. Have a wonderful Easter to you and the family as well, mate. We hope you enjoy it, and to all our viewers, you have a wonderful Easter and plenty of Easter eggs, and we'll talk next week, buddy.
Absolutely. Cracking round, Matty, from Thursday night footy right through to Monday, Easter Monday. Happy Easter, everyone. Have a great weekend.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.